What's up? I'm Rachel, a stay-at-home mom, and I use YNAB or You Need a Budget to budget my household's income. Currently, my husband is the main provider, but it looks like I might have a couple side gigs. I've been working at the library part-time, but I really want them to find someone else to do that, and it looks like I might have my first contracted self-employed bookkeeping job. I checked the bank account like 20 times today because my husband's paycheck is usually in there. This morning, we have a premium checking account, and they give you your paycheck like 2 days in advance, and they actually clear it in the account. Well, apparently they moved the day my husband gets paid, so it's currently pending in there, but I have enough confidence that it's the right amount, and it's going to hit probably tomorrow. So we're going to go ahead and budget. We also got some money back from one of our cars being junked. It wasn't the car that I thought we were going to sell, and I think we're actually going to keep the older pickup now. It hasn't sold on Marketplace, and I think at this point it's more valuable to us to just keep driving it and do minimal maintenance to it. So this $350 up here first is what we got for junking the vehicle. It was going to be well over $1,000 to fix it, and at that point that's money that could go towards another like small commuting car if that's what we decide to get. But as for right now, we're going to get this money back in the budget, and we're going to use this $350 to cover overspending first. So the first overspending we're going to cover, my husband needed some clothes. He rarely does. Like, we're both pretty minimal with our clothing, and he especially is. Like, he either changes sizes or he wears stuff out. And unfortunately, he still needs some more gym shorts, and I don't blame him. He's been wearing the same ones for like 10 years. And that's with like weight fluctuations and everything, poor guy. So he's like at his smallest that he's ever been. So he's wearing like a lot of baggy clothes that just don't fit him. So I'm kind of excited for him to get clothes that fit. Otherwise, he needed underwear and new gym shoes, which he'd also had since high school, and that was 10 years ago. So that's the weird thing about clothes in the budget, is they're hard to plan ahead for since we just don't regularly buy clothes, and we could stockpile money up, but it's easier just to cash flow it. Now this $11.92 overspending, I am not happy about at all. With a lot of other coffee apps, if you don't have enough gift card or rewards to cover it, it'll just pull the exact amount from your card. Well, Starbucks, I had like $4 of a gift card left, and instead of pulling just the small amount of money, it reloaded my account with $25. So I guess I have $25 to spend at Starbucks, which is not my preferred coffee shop, but I guess I've already spent the money, so I may end up giving myself a little bit more money in that category just to tide myself over, because I'm a realist. So I'm actually going to come down here and let's see, I'd spent about $12 out of 25, so I'm just going to give myself $15 more. That should be plenty. Okay, so here's kind of how the budget's going. Below money, we're covered. So groceries were actually doing really well. I had $80 of meat certificates, which I can show you here. So I put that $80 in cash, so it was as if it was actually money being spent out of the budget instead of just treating it as free money. And then I spent it out of the cash line, and then that gave me $80 that I could put elsewhere in the budget. No grocery holding yet. Fuel, we're doing well. I think I say fuel funny. I almost just want to change this to gas. Because that's what I call it most of the time. We used to actually have like gas that we would get as a utility in other places we lived, but that's not a thing right now, so I'm just going to call it gas because it's just been driving me nuts that I hate the way I say fuel. Anyways, we're doing well there. I do foresee gas prices going up just with like everything political and the economy and whatever. But for right now, we've been doing well and we've been under, so that makes me feel good about where that's going. Eating out, I did eat out a little bit. Just really needed to eat, didn't plan well for myself, but oh well. Then a few dollars left in my son's line, but I'm just going to leave it there just in case we do need something later in the month. There's a little bit of buffer. And then I haven't seen my grandma yet. I'm hoping she's doing better. We're hoping to see her tomorrow. So that money is still there. Then I paid the mortgage, water, garbage. We have 7 cents here that I'm going to move to ready to assign. And then Haven't paid electric yet, and phones haven't come out yet, but we're good there. Subscriptions we're doing well. The VPN though, I did get an amount, so it looks like I can put $8.93 to this. So car insurance is technically overfunded right now because I took the vehicle that we junked off. So I am going to reset that. So it looks like we need $88.77 more. So now we're just right where we need to be with that. And then car registration will actually be getting about $50 back from the state for the registration refund that we turned in for the junked vehicle. And then it looks like we're on track for everything else. Investments came out. Like I said previously, we're just going to go ahead and cover the 4 walls situation for April with any money before we come back and do any of these long-term funds this month. So along with this $153 we have up here left, we're going to go ahead and release my husband's income to ready to assign. And then I also have in this $130, oh, that's where I put the $80 for the meat certificate, so I guess I haven't assigned that yet. And then I also got $50 from my grandma for watching their house while they're away. I don't need that money by any means. I would happily do it, and it's not really out of my way to do, but I'm happy to have the money, and I'll try to use it wisely. I think I've spoken on that before, but anyways, bonus is still just going to sit there. So flipping ahead to April here, we have just over $2,000 to budget, and we are going to start with the 4 walls situation. So I think for groceries, we are going to be getting our whole cow, but I think we're going to have to put this back up to $800. And then gas, we're going to leave at $5.50 because that's been working. $100 for my son. I'm sure he's going to need diapers or something. And then the cats still have a bag of food and a half. So I think we can push getting their food off 1 more month. We've got all of our actual house 4 walls things. And looks like we can't fund everything yet. But hey, at least we can eat. Okay, with $568, we're going to cover garbage, phones, internet, life insurance, and that leaves us with $170 that we're going to put towards, we're going to put this towards baby number 2 because that is important to me. That looks like everything budgeted out that we have so far until next paycheck. I guess I thought that paycheck would go a little further than it did. That's okay, because all we really need it to go towards now will be mortgage, electric, and then our Roth. I'm hoping electric I should only have to budget $350 because in April we don't really run the air conditioning or the heat at all. So I think 1 more paycheck will actually cover April's 4 walls things. So then we're going to be half a month ahead, which that's not the worst thing in the world. I'm pretty happy about that. Now to end this video, I thought I would just kind of go over our February spending. Here was our spending breakdown for February. Obviously, I don't really get this calculation that they're doing. I wish they'd just show all the spending. I get that apparently that spending is more than what actually came in, so we were using saved money from previously, and then that makes the age of money go down, I guess. Anyways, obviously car registrations were huge because that included the taxes for the pickup that we got. Car maintenance was huge. That should be less this month, but that was planned, and it was with the bonus money. Mortgage is always up there, but it's interesting. It's at 13%. I think they say 20% for your living or cost of housing or something. Then car insurance is obviously a big one. February and then August are just big months in general. And then everything else looks pretty normal. And then our income versus expense, I guess I don't really know how to put some of these actual income things under income. which is fine. I'd rather just have our income be based off of like what we actually make from jobs and not things like interest and cash back and stuff that kind of just get fiddled around. I guess I can go through each of these individually. So income was just over $5,500. We also had income from interest, cash back, and gift received, and I never understood how people could just pay for like the Christmas gifts with cash back, but I'm kind of seeing that now. We just really started utilizing it not that long ago. I'm really seeing how it's adding up and trying to prioritize using those cards, which we pay off weekly, so I'm not really nervous about us like not like getting a payment or it messing with our credit score or whatever. And gift received is nice, like that makes me want to be generous when I see how much money that we've received. Blow money, I forgot I got that walk pad last month, so that was a big chunk of this. And then the just in case line, it's a little more than what we normally spend. We usually do $50 there, but that's all good. It's weird that it's an exact $80. Then groceries, we were under for our monthly amount, and then the grocery holding is separate from that, so that's why that's nice to see that we are under $550 with our groceries. Gas, we were under $550. Eating out was up a little bit just from being sick. I forgot we were sick last month. And then my son's amount was under, which is why I don't mind being a little over this month. Vitamins and supplements kind of high, which they're going to be high again. The cats just needed their pellets. Kind of high on the cleaning and consumable stuff. I did return a book to Amazon, so that put some positive money in here. Our home living expenses, it's interesting to see what the total is and versus like the amount of income that we make. Nothing weird there, just the electric. Subscriptions, high because of that VPN, and then Prime was up, so that will even out. And then vehicles were high. Probably like the highest month of vehicles we're going to have. Like it should go way down until we pay car insurance again in August, which will be lower. Or we actually got $117 back, and I budgeted that out, and that's what I moved from car insurance earlier. And just a little bit of medical expenses for cough drops and stuff. And then technically the investments like shouldn't be counted as expenses because we're investing them, we're technically saving them. So decor, linens, and kitchen, that was also birthday spending, and it's going to be high again in March because there were just some things that were needed around the house to just like make things run a little smoother and be cleaner and stuff. I try to be really mindful about the things I get under that line. As far as decor, I'm not even DIY, I'm DW, which means do without. Then long-term funds, we just had those water filters, that was a big purchase, some ground beef out of the meat, and then I bought a few clothing items, and the library shirts, I forgot about those. And then, of course, we had our big positive inflow for taxes. And then taxes are going to be kind of weird now going forward. I'm going to have to definitely set some aside now that I'm going to be a 1099 employee, so that'll be different. And then we just had our interest on our emergency savings account, and I actually moved all that money back to our checking account. Our bank offers a premium checking account where if you make like 15 credit card transactions, since I have a card through that bank, they give you a higher interest rate, which I think is still almost at 4%. It used to be at like 5%, which was crazy. So it's better to just keep all the money in there instead of getting this like 0.05% or something. So it says our next net income was like $3,600. So I don't think I've ever shared our net worth before, and it looks like it just went positive back in May of last year, or June actually, it would have actually gone positive. The day-to-day, like it feels like you're not really getting anywhere, especially when things come up like bonuses being cut or just cost of living things going up. But when you look at the big picture, we are doing really well, even with me not working. It's funny enough that our net worth actually went up the same month that I came home. I'm hoping that I, like, between budgeting and like doing these side jobs, like as a stay-at-home mom, I hope I'm doing enough to support my husband, especially since, like I said, like bonuses being cut, and they did try to give like a little bit of a raise for that, but it was basically the amount that he was supposed to get for his like regular cost of living raise. It also looks like they're going to be slowing down and he might be going down to 40 hours. So this is a good time for me to have a side job. He does usually cut down to 40 hours in the summer. Like, budgeting's fun, but behind every dollar in these budgets that people are making is hard work being put in, especially when people like my husband have blue collar jobs. As things do change with the economy and stuff, and like whether they get good or bad, it's just hard to look 5-10 years ahead in the future. Like looking 5-10 years in the past, I can't believe where we're at now. Like you think, oh, how am I going to afford my first apartment? Or how am I going to afford to like get gas and groceries myself every week? And then it's like, oh, how am I going to pay my own phone bill and have my own car insurance and not like have it roped in with my parents? And suddenly you have all these things. And if you're lucky enough to find a partner that's on the same page as you, that wants to commit, it's even better. And you've got 2 incomes coming in. But man, I really, really wish, and I think of some of the dumb spending I did, just like all the eating out, and mostly just the eating out and stuff from when I was in college, especially when my husband did get his first welding job, or even moving forward a couple years ahead when we got married. I really, really wish that I had set my income aside for now. And obviously it was important to save up for the house, but man, if we could have like lived off his income while we were living in that apartment, which was basically as much as we're paying in mortgage now, we could have really like fast-tracked everything. I don't have a lot of regrets, but that's one thing I wish I knew more of. And I mean, I didn't even know I wanted kids then, but I wish I had done it just in case. And like, if we still decide to not have kids, then we would have had a bunch of money to, you know, build a house or give away or do more traveling or something. But either way, this is where we are today. And if you stuck around this long, I really appreciate it. Give me a like, give me a comment, tell me how you feel. I think I'm getting past the point with these videos where I feel like I really have to put it on for them, and it's just going to be a little more realistic, I think, from here on out. I guess not realistic, but maybe authentic. I don't know. Not that I wasn't being authentic before, but I feel like it was kind of superficial. So these still are just like the type of videos that I so wanted to see when I was contemplating become a stay-at-home mom. But yeah, and like for context, we live in the Midwest, if anybody wanted to know. We're in a rural small town in the Midwest, so our cost of living is pretty cheap, and we're pretty lucky to live where we do. We've contemplated moving to other states, but in the end, when we hash it out, like unless my husband wants to go work on an oil rig or something, this is where we're going to be. And I'm kind of excited about this self-employed bookkeeping business situation. Obviously, I'm just going to have, hopefully, this one client, but I could see in the future having more than one, especially if it's stuff I could do from home. And we would like to homeschool, though, and man, I would really just love to have 4 kids. But for now, we've got this one little guy. We're just going to see what happens. So, thanks again for watching, and see you all next week for the next paycheck.